Seth Rollins is the new World Heavyweight Champion, and I think he is going to hold that title for a while. So with that being said, what is his title reign going to look like? Let's speculate. I'm Brandon, this is Wrestling Talk, no long intro, let's get started. Today we're going to predict Seth Rollins' entire title reign with the World Heavyweight Championship from Clash in Paris all the way until whenever we think he's gonna lose it. So the first stop on that list is Clash in Paris. To me, there are two options. The more exciting option is a fatal four-way. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus LA Knight versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight title. They've been setting it up on Raw, everyone seems to be feuding with each other to an extent, but then there's the more boring option, which is a 3-on-3 tag match. The Vision versus Roman Reigns, LA Knight, and CM Punk. This is probably gonna be what WWE goes with, because ever since the formation of Seth Rollins' faction, we have not seen a situation where all three members of the faction work together in a match. For the first few months, the faction didn't even have a name. So I think this tag match is going to be the coming out party for the Vision, where you have three giant baby faces in Roman, Punk, and LA Knight, each with their own reasons as to why they hate Seth Rollins. We can tell that very boring can they coexist storyline between them, and at the end of the day, the Vision is going to win because they are the dominant heel faction that needs to be put over, and then that works because you could revisit all of those title matches down the line. But after Clash in Paris, the next stop is Crown Jewel, but that is over a month away, so I absolutely see Seth Rollins defending the World Heavyweight title against at least one person on an episode of Raw. Do I think that would be someone like a Roman Reigns or a Punk? No. After Clash in Paris, I think Roman Reigns is going to be written off television after the loss, and Punk versus Seth I think is too big a match to happen just on TV. So I think the best candidate is Penta. Penta has been feuding with Seth Rollins over the past few months on and off. I think he's the perfect competitor to face Seth Rollins on an episode of TV. Seth Rollins can obviously just beat him clean, and then that can lead us into Crown Jewel, where I think WWE is going to keep going with the champion versus champion gimmick. So at Crown Jewel, I think we're getting Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes. We haven't seen this match in a few years at this point. The last time these two faced off was that iconic Hell in a Cell match with Cody's torn pec. At WrestleMania 40, the two of them were friends, now they're enemies. I think the story for this match is going to be awesome. But at the end of the day, I think it's Seth Rollins who needs the win more than Cody. I don't see Cody winning the Crown Jewel Championship 2 years in a row, nor do I see him beating Seth Rollins for the 4th time in a row. I think Seth Rollins beats Cody Rhodes with the help of the Vision, and then we just keep his undefeated streak moving. After that, on an episode of Monday Night Raw around late October, early November, I think Seth Rollins defends the World Heavyweight title against Jey Uso. And after he beats him clean, I think members of the Vision interfere with the match and just start beating down on Jey Uso. And who comes out to make the save? Roman Reigns, who hasn't been seen on TV since Clash in Paris. And from there, we are going to officially be on the road to War Games, where it is obviously going to be Team Roman versus Team Seth. For Team Seth, it's going to be Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed, and then I think they're just going to recruit 2 more heels. At the moment, the 2 that make the most sense are Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. The 2 of them are basically an unofficial tag team at the moment. They're big marquee names who could add value to the War Games match, and they're heels, so I could absolutely see them aligning with Seth Rollins. On the babyface side, you're obviously going to get Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn. Jey Uso always has Roman's back, and Sami Zayn always has Jey Uso's back. Plus, both Sami and Jey have been in every War Games match since it debuted on the main roster, so I think WWE is going to want to keep their streaks going. As for the other 2 members, I think one of them has to be CM Punk. It only makes sense given their history this past year. And then that 5th spot is really interesting because there are 3 options. One is LA Knight if you want to keep him in the main event mix. Another is Jimmy Uso if you want the exact same babyface War Games team as last year. But to me, the most exciting option is John Cena. John Cena has never been in a War Games match, and before he hangs it up, I think that would be a cool thing to see, because I would love to see John Cena be a part of one last Avengers Assemble moment. I could see it playing out like this. The 4 babyfaces go into the War Games match not knowing who their 5th man is going to be, but before the match, CM Punk reassures everyone, don't worry, I made a call, I think my guy's going to show. And when all 9 guys are finally in the ring and it looks like Seth Rollins' team has the upper hand, John Cena's music hits, he runs down to the ring, slams the cage door shut, and aligns with the babyface team. I think that would be incredible to see John Cena team up with Roman Reigns and CM Punk, not to mention he can face off against guys like Drew McIntyre, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. I think it would be a wasted opportunity if we don't see Cena in a War Games match. And obviously Team Roman is going to win, giving Seth Rollins and the Vision their first major loss since SummerSlam. After that, the last major show of the year is Saturday night's main event. John Cena is going to main event that show because that is going to be his final match. So I can also see Seth Rollins opening the show defending the World Heavyweight Championship, and because it's John Cena's last match, I think they might give Seth Rollins a big opponent for that show, which is why I think that is where you do Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. Because think about it, the two of these guys have been feuding nonstop for the entire year of 2025. CM Punk beat Seth Rollins on the Raw Netflix premiere, then Punk eliminated Seth from the Rumble, Seth got Punk eliminated from the Chamber, Seth beat Punk at WrestleMania, then beat him at Saturday night's main event, then cost him the title match against John Cena at Night of Champions, then took the title from him at SummerSlam, and then if you're following my fantasy booking, beat him at Clash in Paris, and then Punk finally got a win over him, kind of, at War Games. I think Punk versus Seth takes place at Saturday night's main event and finally puts a bookend on this year-long feud. And of course, Seth Rollins wins. And then after that, going into 2026, Seth Rollins really doesn't need to defend the title at all. If there is a Saturday night's main event between the Rumble and WrestleMania, he could defend against really any babyface. Throw out AJ Styles, I don't know. But when it comes to who is going to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 42, I think there are two options. And I don't think either one of them is CM Punk, because I think CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed title is the locked-in main event for WrestleMania Night 2. But whatever Seth Rollins does, I think that main event's WrestleMania Night 1. And it comes down to whoever wins the Rumble. And again, there are two options. One is Sami Zayn. WWE is clearly building up Sami Zayn as an underdog. He keeps mentioning how he wants to win a world title. The Royal Rumble is in Saudi Arabia this year, so Sami Zayn is the clear favorite to win. I could absolutely see Sami Zayn finally winning the Royal Rumble and then challenging Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. But to be honest, I don't think that's a main event match, because I don't think the crowd is that behind Sami Zayn. Sure, he gets cheers, but he is nowhere near as over as Jey Uso, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, even LA Knight. So while Sami Zayn might be the favorite to win the Rumble now, there is so much that can change in the next 8 months. One of which being Sami Zayn turning heel. I could absolutely see that happening. So given the fact that Sami Zayn is not as hot right now as a character, plus the fact that I think him winning the Rumble is way too obvious, I'm going with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble in 2015, but at the time, the crowd booed him out of the building. I think WWE wants to fix that. I could absolutely see Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble, having the crowd entirely behind him, and then going on to finally have a one-on-one match at WrestleMania with his most iconic rival, Seth Rollins. I think WWE wants to add Roman Reigns to that very short list of people who have won 2 Royal Rumbles, like Cody Rhodes, John Cena, Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels. I think they want Roman Reigns added to that list. And not to mention, I think before Roman Reigns hangs it up, which is sooner rather than later, I think WWE wants to do Roman versus Seth one-on-one at WrestleMania. If you watch WWE Unreal, it was originally slated to happen at this past WrestleMania. So I think it's probably going to happen at this one. And also, this is where I think Seth Rollins' title reign comes to an end. Because Roman Reigns has never beaten Seth Rollins when it counts. Sure, he's maybe beaten him on some house shows or episodes of TV, but whenever they've had a major PLE match, Roman Reigns has always lost or been disqualified. And when you look at the past 2 years of WrestleMania, they have been telling a bit of a trilogy with Roman and Seth. At WrestleMania 40, Seth Rollins was the reason Roman lost the title. At WrestleMania 41, Seth Rollins was the reason Roman Reigns lost Paul Heyman. I think at WrestleMania 42, Roman Reigns is the reason Seth Rollins loses the World Heavyweight title. That way, Roman can finally get a win over Seth, put a button on that story that they've been telling really since 2014. And before he hangs it up, which again is probably going to happen within the next few years, Roman Reigns can get one final title reign under his belt elevating the World Heavyweight Championship. Does he need to have a long title reign? Absolutely not. He could honestly lose it at the next PLE. But when it comes to predicting Seth Rollins' entire title reign, I think Roman Reigns is the endgame. But that's it. That's how I would book Seth Rollins' entire title reign from Clash in Paris all the way to WrestleMania 42. What do you think? Comment below, let me know, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.